Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squad for boxing news and views from around the internet. Figures of 275,000 plus are now being reported for the Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz rematch pay-per-view event, which was held on November 23rd in Las Vegas. So this obviously contradicts some earlier numbers that came out from boxing insider Rick Glazer, and we'll come to that. But first, to the BoxingScene.com story, then a few thoughts about the whole issue of the pay-per-view, what it means for the Tyson Fury rematch, and in general with other numbers floating around. So first off, see the BoxingScene.com story, see here on screen. So it reports multiple industry sources have informed BoxingScene.com that the November 23 Fox Sports 4-fight pay-per-view telecast, topped by Wilder's repeat knockout win over Luis Ortiz from MGM Grand Arena in Las Vegas, will land just north of 275,000 units sold in domestic sales. The most generous estimates have the event falling shy of 300,000, although performing considerably better than the previous and largely unconfirmed rumours regarding the Premier Boxing Champions branded event. Goes on to say the figure places pay-per-view revenue at roughly $21 million in addition to what was produced at the live gate, with those figures expected to be released in the coming days along with the international pay-per-view sales. And just on the live gate, those figures are in. So Rob at Mixed Combat Radio had sourced them from the commission. So Wilder Ortiz, you can see here, $4 million for the live gate on 7,400 tickets, 1,700 comps. So in terms of the live gate, so $4 million. So in addition to the $21 million or approximate $21 million based off the estimate, which has come in so far per sources, according to BoxingScene.com, roughly $25 million generated so far. And you have to remember the international pay-per-view will probably top that up a bit as well. But in the context of the salaries that were reported to be paid to Wilder and Ortiz, with Wilder reportedly getting somewhere around 20 million and Luis Ortiz close to 7 million. It still looks like it's going to come up well short of covering the event itself, because remember, the promotion itself costs money to run, and Fox will be clipping the ticket along the way, maybe something along the lines of 50% of the pay-per-view price. So this was always going to be a bit of a loss leader type situation. Fox wanted to invest into this fight to ensure that they could pick up the rematch with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury in 3 months or so. That is slated potentially to be February the 22nd, 2020, but the official announcement yet to come. But on the face of it, 275,000, somewhere between there and 300,000 is what is now being reported. That is okay. I think a lot of people, when this first came out, were expecting somewhere between 200,000, maybe a bit more. And obviously, optimism for the event did rise as the promotion really kicked into high gear. Fox did a tremendous job, in my view, of promoting the fight. They really threw everything at it. So in terms of what they did, very good. But the numbers overall, considering it was a retread fight, which had a conclusive ending for the first fight, not too bad in my view in the current market for pay-per-view in the United States. I know that there were some people having expectations for 500,000 or considerably more, but this was never going to generate those sorts of numbers, given people had seen it before and a lot of people just refused to pay for it. But on the difference between this number, and if we take this at face value and go, okay, this is what they're saying, if we believe it, these numbers are okay. But compared to the 138,000 that Rick Glazer was reporting, well, maybe the truth is somewhere in between. It's hard to say. We don't really know these sources and how accurate the numbers really are. But if we take this at face value, those numbers are not terrible. It's not exactly the sort of face of boxing numbers that Deontay Wilder has been talking about, but this was never really going to be the sort of fight to generate those sorts of buys. There's a reason guys like Canelo have moved to, flat fees on DAZN, because the pay-per-view market is not as strong as it once was. And as even Rick Glazer said himself, you have to have a demand fight for people to really open their wallets to get the big pay-per-view numbers. When a lot of these guys who've been on pay-per-view have fought guys people haven't necessarily wanted to see, the fights don't resonate, and it's kind of just that simple. But 275,000 to 300,000, if that's to be believed, That's not terrible, but obviously I think probably short of some expectations around the place, which, had been projecting it to be a bit higher. But given it was a retread fight, yeah, it's not terrible. So what does this mean for the pay-per-view with Tyson Fury? Well, I think I'll reiterate again, some of the sales from this fight, if it is 275 plus, I think you have to credit to the promotional push that Fox really threw at this fight, probably brought in the extra buys. Whatever the number was, it was helped by the promotional push. Fox will look to repeat the dose, and remember, there will be some sort of joint arrangement between potentially Fox and ESPN, which is on the top-ranked side where Tyson Fury is promoted. Whether it's done on simulcast, they may share the revenue evenly. We'll have to see what actually happens. Some of those details we may not ever actually know, but at the point that they do the rematch, everyone will be looking to cash in. So you can expect to see soon that the fight preparations, if it is happening for February the 22nd, expect that the promotion is really going to be in our face, and no doubt there will be a really decent, juicy sort of storyline in those sort of fight camp episodes that they say Fox had produced for this Wilder Ortiz 2 fight. And Rick Glazer, finishing off with him, no doubt he will end up saying that these numbers are bogus. And he said that about a number of other pay-per-view fights that have happened in recent years all over the place, that the numbers are inflated and that we never get the true gauge of what the buys were. And part of that is apparently because obviously with publicly traded companies, one, they probably can't release the exact number, but two, they wouldn't want to release too disappointing numbers, so they would inflate the number to make it look better than it otherwise may be. Well, that's what he said in some different posts, but also in an interview that Speak Your Mind Sports TV had with him on this topic of the Wilder Ortiz pay-per-view, which he had reported at 138,000. So if it's 275,000 or 138,000, it's in the books. We're probably never going to know the full details. And actually, in that article with BoxingScene.com, it says final figures for Spence Porter were not released by Fox Sports nor event handlers, nor will be the case for this event. Representatives from Fox Sports and PBC politely declined to comment to BoxingScene.com, as neither platform makes it a habit to discuss pay-per-view numbers. But the thing is, they get out that it is leaked, and how accurate they are. Clearly, there's a question there about the accuracy of pay-per-view numbers, because it could be easy to inflate them, or in the case of Rick Glazer, maybe underreport them. But anyway, this report here says 275,000 plus. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.